Hjärtligt välkomna ska ni vara till Café MIF och vi har ju haft ett 2 månaders break här och vi hoppas väl på att ni har haft en riktigt skön sommar och att ni har fått sett en hel del EM-fotboll och inte minst en hel dos med OS. Och vi tycker det passar bra att snacka lite OS idag, för vi har våra gäster är nyss hemkomna från ett riktigt OS-äventyr. So I say very welcome Anna and Tameka and Kirsty to Café MIF för en liten fikastund. I heard that you know what fika is, so
yes.
you're not don't have to explain that.
No.
Now you have been in Brazil. What is the best memory from the Olympics?
My best memory was getting to go to the village and be a part of Team New Zealand, which is like the whole New Zealand Olympic team. It's a pretty special feeling. And yeah, that was my favourite thing about being in Rio.
A lot of photos is
Yeah,
all the time.
you know, we did get a lot of photos and got to be a tourist a bit as well. So see Christ the Redeemer and go to Copacabana Beach. So yeah, no, it was a really awesome experience.
Did you take a bath at Copacabana or?
No, just walking along the beach, but no
Okay.
swimming.
Tameka, what's your best memory? You were not together, you were playing for Australia, shall we say, and you two are from New Zealand.
Yeah. I think my most memorable experience from Brazil would have been playing Brazil in Brazil. I think we were in a sold-out stadium and it was just huge, and the game went down to penalties, and it was honestly the loudest I've ever heard fans like screaming, and I think it was quite lucky that we lost, otherwise our family in the stands would have got rushed, I think, but that's definitely the most memorable moment for me.
You were so close to play against Sweden.
Yeah.
Marta missed the 5th penalty.
Yeah, it
And
was
so
pretty tight.
You would Australia as well. And yeah, and the rest is history of that. Very close.
Yeah, it was close.
And your memory then?
Yeah, like Greenie said, the village was an amazing experience and being a part of the wider New Zealand team. And I also think, you know, each game was really cool because there was a lot of people at the games and just playing in front of a lot of fans, and they were obviously mutual fans because we were from New Zealand and we didn't have Brazil in our group. So when we played America, it was a pretty full stadium, and like it was just a really cool experience to see like what Brazil could bring as a football nation and the support that they gave to the women's football.
It must be an incredible feeling to feel the Brazil atmosphere
Yeah,
around the
it was
games.
pretty
And
Yeah.
Anna, we're starting with you regarding your history. Green, isn't that the best name you can have when you're playing in Mallbackens?
Well, yeah, I didn't even know Mallbackens was green when I signed, but it's just a happy coincidence.
Yeah. I think you will call Gren in one match.
Yeah,
Swedish.
I know, very Swedish.
Yeah, but it's not the same as Green. You were born in Stockport in England. Explain how.
Yeah,
that
so
can go.
my dad's English, and my parents were over visiting his parents for a year, so they decided to come over to England and work and bring my sisters over to meet their grandparents, and I just happened to be born that year, so there I was, born in England. And then maybe when I was 4 months old, we moved back to New Zealand.
And then you lived in Auckland? You played in Auckland?
Yeah, I played in Auckland.
Three Kings?
Yeah.
That's a lady team?
Yeah, they have
With
it's a men's club as well, but we had a good women's team there.
Yeah. And then you went to Adelaide, continued playing there. And then you moved up to Europe?
Yes, yeah.
To Germany and Leipzig? And went back to Sydney. And then went back again
Yeah.
to England.
Yeah, just keeping it interesting.
Yeah, Notts County. But that was a little bit unlucky time
Yes.
for
I
you.
tore my ACL first game of the season, played against Arsenal. So that was quite a short stint in England. And then I went back to New Zealand, had the surgery on my knee and did my rehab there.
And then you came to Mallbackens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Tameka,
Yeah.
you come from a village, Orange, called
Yeah.
Orange.
Yeah, it's called Orange. I didn't spend much of my time there. Bit like Greenie, when I was younger, my family moved and we ended up moving to the Gold Coast, which is a nice coastal region in Queensland, and I pretty much grew up there. And yeah, did a bit of surfing and football growing up there.
That was Brisbane.
It's very close to Brisbane, just south of Brisbane, yeah. Yeah.
Because you played in Brisbane.
Yeah, I played
yeah.
for a long time in Brisbane.
But then you went away a long distance
Yeah.
to the States.
Started travelling a bit and playing. I went to Boston Breakers and played a season there, which was a good experience.
You started to give the American League a face when they grew.
Yeah,
They're
when
starting.
we're developing their league. Yeah, I think it was the first season that it was up, or the second season maybe. Yeah.
And then you went to Germany as well.
Then I went to Germany. I played in Frankfurt for a season as well. That was quite different.
That's a tough league.
Yeah, I think it was my first experience in European football, and yeah, it was. I think it took me a while to adapt to the weather. They had a crazy winter when I was there, and a lot more snow than I've ever seen in my life. So it was pretty different, but that was a good experience.
You didn't continue with the surfing,
No,
but
no,
on snow.
definitely not. No, thank you.
Oh.
I was like,
But then I understand you made a very special trip. The next club was in Japan.
yeah, Japan.
Iga FC.
Eager FC, yeah, that's right. They're also green. Just a random fact, but yeah, that was completely different. I don't think football isn't as crazy as what it is in Europe, so it was a very different experience, like culturally, but also the football. We trained on clay, which was a bit different, so it was like a hard ground. It was quite dusty, and yeah, possibly the weirdest surface I've ever played football on. But we trained 3 times a week on clay and then played on grass. So I think that was the strangest thing about my experience there. But I love the culture and everything else about Japan. Yeah.
Well, hard times.
Yeah.
It's to learn the business
Yeah.
in the hard way.
Yeah, exactly. Tough trade.
Yeah, after the Japan trip, you came to Sweden and Mallbackens.
Yeah, switch back to Europe.
Yeah. Kirsty, you have been in Sweden. You are almost Swedish, what I can understand.
Yeah, I've been here long enough.
You have a Swedish passport.
No.
You haven't?
That would help.
Okay.
But no.
But you are from Auckland.
Yes.
Yeah, New Zealand. And your first club was Avon, yeah. And then you moved straight on to the States.
Yeah,
LA?
from there I went to LA, a team called Pally Blues, and I had a good season there. It was a lot of fun and played with a lot of really good players. Girls that played for America and still do, and girls that played for Mexico and Canada. It was like a really big mixture in England, so it was really fun.
That's great. And as you like traveling a lot, then you moved up to the cold north, more or less. You came to Kristianstad, yeah?
Yeah.
And played there for 1 year?
Yeah, 1 season, and then I went back.
To the neighbors?
Yeah, I actually went home first because I got injured at the end of that season. And then we had the World Cup that year, come in 2011 in Germany. And so after the World Cup, I came to Vitua for the last part of the season.
So it was only international games that year, huh?
Yeah, it was pretty much, until I came to Vitua, yeah, it was.
You've been 5 years in Vitua before you had a short stop in Brisbane and came to Mallbackens.
Yeah. Yeah, five seasons. It's a long time.
Have you counted how many miles you have traveled?
No, I would hate to do that. Sitting on a plane, flying back and forth is horrible. It's such a long trip.
Anna, why did you choose to play football? How did it start for you?
Well, my dad's English and he loves football, and I've got two older sisters, and they both played, you probably haven't heard of it, netball. It's similar to basketball, but you can't move with the ball, and he was just sick of watching netball, so he said, no, like, someone has to play football, and so it just happened to be me, and so that's how I started playing football. My dad was just sick of watching other sports.
That's so funny.
It's a good way to start.
Yeah, I mean, it was effective, I guess.
But you liked it anyway?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
was it tears?
I mean, there were a few tears, I think. But maybe after a few seasons, I was like, oh, it's not too bad. Okay, I'll keep playing.
How was the start for you, Tameka?
I started pretty young. I basically, when I was younger, did everything that my older brother did, apart from rugby union. I wasn't allowed to do that, but he was playing football, so I naturally started playing football, and yeah, that's how I got into it. Didn't stop after I started.
But you have these Aussie rules. They are hard players, isn't they?
Yeah,
It's a bit
quite
different
tough.
what we have in Europe with the rugby or the Aussie rules. Isn't that
Yeah.
a bit tougher?
I think so. I don't know. I don't
No, you
watch
haven't
too
done
much
it.
because
No,
it's
you
like,
haven't done it.
I think it's quite brutal. Yes, I haven't played either. No way. Not for me. But yeah, that's how I started.
And Kirsty, why did you start playing football?
Yeah, I started when I was 7, I think, and it was kind of similar. My brother played football, so I would always be down there as well when he was training and started kicking the ball around, and then the coach thought I kicked it around pretty good, so he said I should join. So yeah, then I started playing, and my brother stopped. Yeah. So,
He didn't coach you, or?
no, he tries to claim that it was because of him that I'm good at football.
Ah, okay.
He takes credit.
Oh, that's great. As you can hear, you are looking at here. It's a lot of traveling in these bodies. Very interesting to hear you compare what the life is and the training and the matches in different countries. What do you say, Anna?
Yeah, definitely. I think there's like a big difference between the northern and southern hemisphere, just purely because of the weather. So the Australian League is in summer, so it's pretty hot. You're on tough, like hard ground all the time, but also in your downtime, you know, like it's summer in a like beautiful country, so you get to go to the beach and just be outdoors all the time. So, I mean, that's pretty different to any of the northern hemisphere leagues, I think.
So, Tameka, the difference in Japan and Strandvallen and Frankfurt.
Yeah, I think they're all. Well, I think Sweden and Germany are quite similar in a lot of ways, with the football as well. But then, yeah, when you take it back to Australia, the football that we play is slightly different, and then to Japan again, it's a whole different ball game. I think Japan play in really tight places and make the field really small, and then when we go back to Australia, we're just up and down, running everywhere. So I think the football is quite different. But then, yeah, when you add in the weather and the type of training that you do, it's everywhere's pretty different.
Is it much difference in organization? I mean, if before you prepare a game or something, you study your opponents and you see the weakness and you see the strengths. And do you do that in the same way everywhere, or is it more?
Pretty much. I think every club that I've been at, you use video analysis to study your opponent. It's a bit more challenging when you're in a foreign country. I think Japan was the hardest. Our translator, that we had to have a translator in for all of our sessions because no one really spoke English. So.
And you don't speak Japanese?
Unfortunately, no.
Okay.
Didn't pick that trade up at school.
Well, that's okay.
So I think the translator we had didn't really know much about football, so when they would translate things to us, it was quite difficult to comprehend what they were trying to say, but it was a fun learning curve.
Can I understand that? And Kirsty, you have been almost Swedish, as I said, so you can't compare, or you
within
can
Sweden.
Yeah. Maybe be more difference between north and south of Sweden, or
Yeah,
than
there's a
it
bit of a
between
difference
America and.
yeah, that's true. There's a little bit of a difference between the south and, well, this is a bit more north, but definitely the way you guys speak is there's a difference in the accent, that's for sure. No, I mean, I have to say the same as the other girls. It's in Australia and New Zealand, it's, yeah, a lot hotter. So playing football over there in the summertime is, yeah, I guess in some ways a lot harder because it's more intense in the way that the style of play and in the heat. Over here, Europe's a bit more, you know, they play a bit more structured football, so it's not quite as fast and furious, I guess, as the Australian league. And then the weather is a lot cooler, so it's more like we're putting on layers of clothing rather than just playing in your shorts and your t-shirt. So I think there's a big difference, but I like the different styles.
When it's hot when you're playing a game, do they have these breaks with the water? Do you play 45?
They have if it's past a certain if it's like
35, if it's over 35 degrees.
Yeah, then you get a break halfway between.
35, that's quite hot.
Yeah.
It's really hot.
Yeah, it has to be pretty hot.
I think it's if I think it's another rule that if it's like over 42 or something, then the game gets cancelled.
Oh, okay.
That might only happen further up north, but yeah, you get a break in the middle of each half and then half time, so you end up having 3 breaks.
Is it different to playing in New Zealand and Australia in the
Australia gets a lot hotter than New Zealand.
And the league in New Zealand's also played in the winter time, whereas the league in Australia is played in the summertime. So yeah, it's a lot hotter in Australia.
The Australian conditions are
we're missing some ozone layer up there.
Australia's pretty harsh. The ground's hard, the weather's hot. So and then you're playing usually in the middle of the day. So it's like, it's the worst time to be playing.
You're right, it is. It's fast and furious.
Yeah, and this style, they play like their national team. That's the style over there. Fast and furious. So it's even harder because everyone's
It's nice to hear what you do down under. There's another thing I would like to just talk with you two. You are a couple and you live together. And just before the Olympics, you went back to Australia, I think it was, for a pre-Olympic game.
Yeah, we went to Melbourne.
Friendly game. And then you played versus each other. And you obviously you know each other very well. How was that?
Yeah, it was a pretty, I guess, it was a special occasion. It was definitely the first time we would have played against each other that we can remember. I'm sure we have played against each other when we were younger, but
yeah, it was definitely the first time as a couple. It was interesting. It was different to see her in another shirt, especially since we played at Brisbane Roar together and then half a season at Mallbackens together. To play against each other was a bit. It was different.
Did you face each other on the
Yeah, we
pitch?
did.
You did that?
Like the first tackle.
Yeah.
It was against each other.
And you realized there was.
I think I gave her a little nudge.
Or maybe train on that daily, or.
It was fun. It was a good. It was cool to play against one another.
Yeah.
I don't think it's very common anyway that it's happened so many times.
No, probably not.
In international game.
Yeah.
No,
I think that's probably a rare occasion.
Yeah. So it was a good one.
We swapped jerseys after the match.
So you have each other now.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Another interesting stuff, superstitious around with athletics and whatever. It's very interesting, Tameka. You have number 13. If you see people generally, they don't want to sit on number 13. If you're in a plane, they don't want to have 13 on the back either.
Not even hotels have level 13. I think. It's unlucky for a lot of people, so it can be lucky for me.
Is there any reason for it? It started with something, or was it just?
I wore it growing up when I was back playing with the boys for my local club, and then I just like it. I don't know, no reason. It's not my birthday or anything. I just like wearing it.
It's Ballack and you.
Yeah, individuals.
Yeah. But it seems to be good.
Yeah, it seems to be working.
It's very interesting to have you here at Café MIF. I think if you're looking at the history of Mallbackens, there's never been so few people with so many international games at the same sofa. We can mention that Kirsty, you celebrated during the Olympics with the 100 caps international games. That was very good.
Yeah, it was really good. I've had quite a few bad injuries in my career, so I've missed out on a few major tournaments. Like I missed out on a World Cup, and I missed out on, we always go to Cyprus and play quite a few games there. So I've missed a few games. It took a little bit longer to get to my 100. So I was really happy to finally get there.
You can mention that you were 17.
I was 17 when I first started playing. So I've been on the football phones for quite a long time.
Well, when you started, you were 16 when you made your debut.
Mm-hmm.
And you have 61 caps.
Yeah.
That's not bad either.
Oh, I'm a bit the same as Kirsty. I've had a fair few injuries, so it's been slow going, racking up the caps, but getting there, slowly but surely.
Yeah. And Tameka, you have, is it 4 matches fewer than Anna?
Yeah.
What I could understand, 57.
Yeah.
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 But you were also debuting at 17.
Yeah.
Yes.
I started at a young age, I guess, but we haven't really until the last couple of years had too many internationals. Per year we would have maybe 10. And we've always had a competitive squad, so it's been difficult for everyone to get high cap numbers. But now we've been, getting invited to Cyprus, like you guys go to Cyprus, and a few other tournaments, and this is our first Olympics that we've been to in 12 years, so we're slowly getting a few more games each year.
Was it special to be better than New Zealand in the Olympics?
I don't know, I think we're in different groups, and it's always... it's quite difficult, and I think we're very separate. It's hard to judge. I mean, if you look at Sweden, they ended up getting a silver, but whether you thought after the group stage they were going to get it, you wouldn't have known. It's pretty hit and miss, but I think we did pretty well.
So even games as well. Yeah, there was a lot of games that were penalties, and it's very special to. I think it was very unusual for Sweden to win on penalties. You can do it one time, but now they did it twice. So I think it's very unusual.
But they did a good job to get the penalties. You have to play another 30 minutes on top.
Yeah.
So.
I have to say thank you very much, guys, for
Thank
coming and visit Café MIF. It was very, very pleasure to have you here.
Thanks for having us.
I wish you the
Thanks
best
for the
of the
coffee.
rest of the season, and hope you get Gothenburg now to the weekend.
Yes.
We hope so.
Focus.
Get some points.
Tack ska ni ha för att ni har tittat på dagens Café MIF. Vi återkommer igen om några veckor igen. Lev väl och heja på Mallbacken.
Nu tar vi en bulle. Du tar en bulle.
Nu ska du få vad du tål.